Hello, everyone. In this lesson, we are working on a TOEFL writing task called Write an Email. Before we move on to the question, this short introduction will help you understand what is expected and how to approach the task. You will practice writing clearly, politely, and effectively in a real-life situation, which will prepare you for the writing section. If you want to keep improving your writing and master the TOEFL exam, make sure to subscribe to my TOEFL for more expert lessons and tips. You will read some information and use the information to write an email. You will have 7 minutes to write the email. You recently booked a study room at the university library for your history study group. This first sentence sets the stage for our task. You have arranged a study room which is the central topic. Note that the purpose is for your history study group. Knowing the specific group helps you add relevant details later, making your email sound more realistic and personalized, which is great for your score. You received a confirmation email, but the date listed is incorrect. Here is the problem we need to solve. You have a confirmation email, but the information is incorrect. In TOEFL writing, identifying the error clearly is vital because it forms the core of your explanation. You must address this mistake directly to satisfy the task requirements. You need to get this corrected before your group meets next week. This gives us our timeline. The booking must be corrected because the meeting is happening next week. This creates a sense of polite urgency that you should reflect in your writing. It also reminds you that the email's purpose is to request a specific change. Write an email to library services. In your email, do the following. This is your direct instruction. You are writing to library services. Since you are contacting a university department, your tone must be professional and polite. The phrase, do the following, signals that there are specific points you must cover to get a high score. Missing even one point can lower your grade, so pay close attention. Thank the library for the study room reservation. The first requirement is to thank the staff. Starting with gratitude establishes a positive tone. Mentioning the reservation clearly connects your opening to the context. From a scoring perspective, this shows you can handle social etiquette in a professional setting. Explain the error in the confirmation email. Next, you must explain the error. You need to be specific about what is wrong in the confirmation email. Providing clear details, like the wrong date versus the right date, shows the examiner that you can convey complex information accurately and logically. Ask for the booking to be corrected. Finally, you must ask for the change. Use a polite request structure to ensure the booking is corrected. This completes the purpose of the email. In the scoring rubric, this demonstrates your ability to use language to achieve a specific goal or outcome. Write as much as you can and in complete sentences. Your response. library.services@university.edu. The recipient is a university service department. This email address tells us the audience is administrative. Therefore, we should avoid overly casual language and stick to a formal, respectful tone throughout the message. Incorrect study room booking. A good subject line should be clear and concise. Using the word incorrect immediately flags the problem, and booking identifies exactly what the email is about. This helps the library staff prioritize your request. To start your email, focus on a polite greeting and then immediately fulfill the first requirement by expressing thanks. This sets a professional tone right away. Think about how you would naturally start a conversation where you need help but also want to be appreciative. Let's look at how to do this effectively. Dear Library Services. We begin with Dear, which is the standard formal opening for an email when you want to show respect. Then we add the name of the department, Library Services, to specify who we are contacting. Notice the comma at the end, which is the correct punctuation for a formal greeting. Now we will begin the first paragraph. Here, we want to establish a polite connection by thanking the library and explaining why the facilities are important to us. I would like to express my gratitude for the recent confirmation of our study room reservation. To start the body of the email, we use I would like to express, which is a very professional way to introduce your feelings. We follow this with my gratitude to fulfill the requirement of thanking them. Next, we specify what we are thankful for the recent confirmation, and finally, identify the specific item of our study room reservation. This covers our first task perfectly. Access to these facilities is vital for our collective academic success. We continue by emphasizing the importance of the room. We start with access to these facilities as our subject. Then we use is vital for to show how important it is. We finish the sentence with our collective academic success. This adds a nice touch of detail, showing the reader why this matters so much to your group. In the second paragraph, it is time to address the problem. This is where we explain the error in detail and provide a possible reason for it. Nevertheless, I identified a significant inaccuracy in the scheduling details provided in the latest message. We transition to the problem using nevertheless, which signals a change in tone from positive to concerned. Then, we state the issue clearly with, I identified a significant inaccuracy. We pinpoint where the error is using in the scheduling details, and conclude by referencing the specific source provided in the latest message. This is very clear and professional. The confirmation specifies this coming Friday, whereas our group intended to meet on Wednesday of next week. Now, we provide the specific details of the error. We start with, the confirmation specifies to describe the current wrong state. Then we mention the wrong date, this coming Friday. We use the contrast word, whereas our group intended to meet, to introduce the correct information. We finish with the right date, on Wednesday of next week. Providing this contrast makes the error easy to understand. A fellow student noted that the reservation interface can be difficult to navigate, which may explain why the incorrect date was recorded during the process. To be helpful, we add context. We begin with, a fellow student noted, to share feedback. Then we identify the issue that the reservation interface, and explain the problem can be difficult to navigate. We then offer a logical conclusion with, which may explain why, and finally describe the result. The incorrect date was recorded during the process. This shows sophisticated sentence structure. In the third paragraph, we make our request for action and reiterate why it is important to resolve this quickly. I kindly request that you update the booking to reflect the correct date. We make our request polite by using I kindly request. Then we state the desired action, that you update the booking. We end by clarifying the goal to reflect the correct date. This is a perfect example of a formal request. Our history group is eager to begin our exam preparations without further delay. We add a final reason for the urgency. We start with, our history group is eager to show motivation. Then we mention the activity to begin our exam preparations, and finish with the phrase, without further delay. This emphasizes that the group is ready to work. Finally, we need a formal closing to end the email professionally. Sincerely. We use sincerely, which is a standard and safe formal closing for almost any professional email. Don't forget the comma. The very last step is to provide your name or a placeholder for it. In the exam, you would write your actual name here. In this case, we use your name to show where the sender's name belongs at the bottom of the email. Great job! You have now seen how to build a complete, high-scoring email by addressing every requirement with clarity and a professional tone. Keep practicing these structures, and you will be ready for the writing section.